Most Star Wars fans think Chirrut and Baze became heroes in Rogue One.
But that's not what actually happened.
By the time we meet them on Jedha, they've already lost their war.
They've already watched their world fall apart.
Yeah, they've already seen the Empire win.
And that's what makes this story so tragic.
Right, because Rogue One isn't the story of two heroes rising up.
No, it's the story of two broken survivors finding a reason to fight again. And that could be very profound.
Mm-hmm. Today we're breaking down what really happened to Chirrut, Imwe, and Baze Malbus before Rogue One, why they resisted the rebellion, why they lost on Jedha, and why a new wave of Star Wars stories may finally reveal the missing chapter fans have been waiting for.
And have we been waiting for it? What do you say, Kennage?
We have.
That's right. Because once you understand what they lost, Rogue One becomes a completely different film.
I'm ready for this. That's right. But here's the question at the center of everything.
If they had already lost everything,
why did they choose to fight again?
Pondering question.
It is. So one reason Chirrut and Baze stood out immediately. Immediately. We'll never not wear that out. Darn Bernie Mac. Okay, on topic. This is because they don't feel like traditional Star Wars characters.
Right. They're not Jedi.
Not here to make friends.
Hmm?
Who are they? The Guardians of the Wheels. You almost shot me.
You're welcome. No Jedi here anymore. Only dreamers like this fool.
They're awesome.
So he admitted it, right? He's like, hey, there's no Jedi here. So there you go. So mark that one off your list.
That's right. And they're also not Sith.
Exactly. They're not pilots, senators, or legendary warriors.
No, they feel like ordinary people who were forced to survive something extraordinary.
Yeah. And right away, Rogue One tells us something important about them.
Uh-huh. Chirrut believes.
Baze doubts.
Chirrut hopes.
Baze expects loss.
That's right. And neither of them feels wrong.
Because both reactions feel earned.
Right. Like they've lived through something long before the movie begins.
Yeah, which makes you ask the obvious question.
What happened to them that made them like this?
Hmm?
And why does Baze seem like he's already given up?
Well, that negative attitude. No, just kidding.
A negative Nelly.
What's the matter with you?
Okay, to understand Chirrut and Baze, this is going to be a wonderful discussion.
Yes.
You have to understand Jedha.
Yeah, because Jedha wasn't just another planet in Star Wars.
It was one of the most sacred spiritual centers in the galaxy.
Okay.
Kampai!
Pilgrims traveled there for generations.
Ancient Force traditions survived there.
And cultures built their identity around it.
Right. So both Chirrut and Baze were tied to that world through the Guardians of the Wills.
Yeah, and a tradition dedicated to preserving sacred knowledge and protecting, the sacred sites.
Mm-hmm. Now here's where the story shifts.
As we mentioned, they weren't Jedi.
But the Force still shaped everything they believed in.
And that's what makes this loss so devastating.
Right. Because the Empire didn't just occupy Jedha.
It erased it.
Not in one moment.
But get this, piece by piece.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So now that we're thinking about this is where our minds open up. We think about how everything they dedicated, their lives to protect started actually disappearing on them. So
yeah, and that would be devastating to anybody.
Yep.
Everything you knew and loved that gave you pretty much purpose in your life, and now you got to pick up the pieces. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And the hardest part wasn't the destruction.
No, it was watching it happen slowly.
Yes. Oh, and this is where Baze becomes one of the most tragic characters in all of Rogue One. He didn't break in battle.
He broke over time.
Whoops. So as he watched Jedha lose its identity,
as he watched the Guardians lose their purpose,
yeah, and as every attempt to rise felt smaller and smaller.
Here's the key detail most fans miss, though.
Baze wasn't losing because he stopped caring.
No, he was losing because nothing he cared about could survive the Empire.
No, please, no!
The Empire once again becomes the subject here.
That's right.
It was a plague, right? It was a plague upon everybody. And this Rogue One gave us a glimpse into obviously the other side of what was happening in the universe at the time, because it was this force that you just couldn't resist. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So by the time we meet Baze,
he's not fighting for victory anymore.
Right. He's just surviving disappointment.
But if Baze had given up,
why didn't he leave Chirrut behind?
This is interesting, yes. Actually, the quick answer and the wonderful answer is it's all for Chirrut.
Right. Because Chirrut is the opposite of everything Baze has become.
Where Baze sees collapse, Chirrut still sees meaning. He's the positive sunlight there. Good job, Chirrut.
And on that note...
Are you kidding me? I'm blind.
So he could see some things, but not everything, apparently.
That's a sick joke there, Coop. I love it, though. That was one of the best scenes of the movie.
Yeah. Because this conversation can be a little heavy, because, we're not trying to be all doom and gloom here. There were some bright spots within the movie. So, we don't want to be all Debbie Downer in this conversation, because there were some funny parts. And that's to be expected. You have to have some lightheartedness in there. There's a detail Rogue One never says directly.
That's right, because Baze protects Chirrut constantly.
Yes, not occasionally.
Constantly.
Kampai!
every moment. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Classic. But continuing with this, every moment danger appears, Baze moves first, which is kind of cool.
Even when he's complaining.
Right. So even when he sounds exhausted.
And his actions tell the real story.
Yeah. And Chirrut isn't just his friend.
No, he's the last thing keeping Baze from fully shutting down.
And that's definitely needed. Everybody needs some place where they can vent or, kind of just get things off your chest. You may not necessarily be looking for an answer, but just a safe space to kind of just, and then you can kind of collect yourself and move on again.
That's big business now. We know all about that, right?
Yes. But this leads to something even more interesting.
If they still had hope.
Why didn't they immediately join the rebellion?
This is where their story becomes deeply human.
Yeah, and let's face it, in the Star Wars story, there's a lot of alien, conversation going on. So when you can see the human connections in here, we're going to talk about that for a minute. Because from their perspective, rebellion has already failed.
Yeah, they saw Jedha fall.
They saw resistance collapse.
They saw belief stripped away in real time.
Yeah. So why would they trust another war? Legitimate question.
It is. Because most Star Wars heroes begin before loss.
And Chirrut and Baze begin after it.
Okay, so their hesitation wasn't weakness.
It was exhaustion. So what finally changed their minds?
Documents. How could you be reading documents when they're in your briefcase? That's a mystery.
That's right. That is a mystery. But the answer is that they meet people just as broken as they are.
Jen or so?
Who are you?
You know who I am. I'm Jedha, daughter of Galen and Nera. You've lost.
Boom!
Oh my God, I
Cassian
love it.
Andor.
Yes, both carrying years of failure.
Both unsure if rebellion means anything anymore.
That's right, and that's why the dynamic works.
Yeah, they don't inspire Chirrut and Baze.
They relate to them.
Yeah, and that's when something shifts.
Because Rogue One stops being about heroes.
And becomes about damaged people choosing purpose again, which is massive story.
I love that. I love everything about that. Man.
Yeah.
But Coop, even then,
there are still years of their story we've never seen.
That's right. Star Wars has never fully explained what happened between Jedha's collapse and Rogue One.
And, just to kind of touch back on our previous episode where we talked about fan fiction, this is the kind of story that opens up for the fans to kind of fill in the gaps that we talked about. The things that you don't necessarily see. Your imagination can really run wild and go different places with that. There's still a lot of content here that if the powers that be wanted to still investigate more storyline, they probably could. They did it with Cassian, so why not do it with the others? So
no pressure, Hollywood.
That's it. There's so much material there. And we don't know every mission they survived.
We don't know how they kept going.
And we don't know how their bond fully formed.
Which is intentional.
Yeah, because the story isn't finished.
And now Lucasfilm is starting to revisit that gap.
Which brings us to what comes next.
This isn't happening in isolation.
Marvel has been releasing Star Wars one-shots, highlighting key characters and untold moments across the galaxy.
Yay! And Chirrut and Baze are getting one of the featured releases this August.
Yay! And as we mentioned, this has already been taking place. We've already got one with Cassian. We have Jen. They've been simultaneously putting these out, one a month for a little bit now. So
awesome.
It's very exciting. Yes. And what makes this interesting is where it sits in the release schedule.
Because it arrives just before the final Darth Vader one-shot, expected to close the initiative in September.
Yeah, and that placement matters.
Because Lucasfilm doesn't group characters like this randomly now.
No. So if Chirrut and Baze are being positioned alongside names like Vader,
yeah, it suggests they matter far more than their screen time implies.
Wow.
Impressive. Most impressive.
Yes, it is. Which raises a bigger question.
Right. Is this just nostalgia?
Or is Lucasfilm testing interest in something bigger?
And there's another possibility.
That this isn't the end of their story,
but the beginning of something new.
Which is why we wanted to talk about this.
100.
And maybe that's why fans still care about them nearly a decade later.
Yeah, because Chirrut and Baze aren't chosen ones.
They're not prophecy characters.
They're not destiny-driven heroes.
They're ordinary people who lost everything and still choose to stand up again.
I love that.
Yes.
And that's something audiences understand immediately.
Yes. Because their story isn't about power.
It's about persistence.
Yes, and maybe that's the real tragedy of Chirrut and Baze.
Kampai! Oh, not that they died on Scarif.
But that they already lived through their greatest loss long before it.
Yet when the galaxy needed them one final time,
they didn't hesitate.
No, they stood up again.
Not because they believed they would win,
but because some things are worth fighting for.
And even when you already know how the story ends. Maybe that's why Chirrut and Baze still resonate with so many fans.
Oh, yeah, not because they changed the galaxy.
But because they remind us that courage doesn't always look like victory.
Sometimes it looks like getting back up after you've already lost.
Sometimes it looks like holding on to meaning when everything around you says to let go. That's huge.
And that's what great stories do.
That's right. They help us understand people.
Right, like their struggles,
sacrifices,
and the ideas that survive long after they're gone.
Yeah. But have you ever wondered why stories like this endure for generations?
Why certain characters, moments, and myths keep finding new audiences decades later?
Because stories are more than entertainment.
Right. They're how cultures preserve meaning.
How ideas travel across generations.
And few people understood that better than George Lucas.
Ah, yes. The mastermind.
100.
Which raises an interesting question.
After creating one of the most influential stories in modern history,
why would George Lucas dedicate the next chapter of his life to preserving storytelling itself?
Well, good question. And the answer leads far beyond Star Wars.
Beyond Jedi.
Beyond the Force.
And into a project that been... Yes. That's been decades in the making.
Yeah, $1 billion museum built around one idea.
Cha-ching. And that story matters.
Yeah, not just the ones we've already told,
but the ones that haven't been imagined yet.
Next time, we're exploring why George Lucas built the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art
and what it reveals about the deeper legacy of Star Wars.
Yeah, because eventually every story becomes part of something larger.
A tradition passed from one generation of storytellers to the next.
And somewhere beyond the stars,
the story keeps unfolding.